Are we loaded? Are we ready to go? Summer's in Miami. Yes, sir. Singing Jim Jones right now. We getting it in. It's your boy Step Back. It's the Celtics versus the Heat. It's time to get busy. It's time to eat. We out in the building. They're ready to hit the bar up. Same spot, same duo. Couple of pizzas, a cider, and talking my on the NBA playoffs. And right now we got the game. It's Tatum versus Butler. Woo-wee. Finally, some studs that hate each other in a way. They have a little competition, a little rivalry. 1 and 2 out of the East. Makes sense, doesn't it? We should have looked at the scoreboard as far as records. 51-31, 53-29. This is going to be a great freaking matchup because they're loaded on both sides. Let's jump into it. I'm going to look at the guys who I think going to lose first, and I'm going to call it right now. I think it's a 6-game series, but if things get ugly, a 5-game series, and I got the Miami brethren taking it. Here goes some of the advantages that we see as far as gameplay and matchups when we look at the Miami Heat versus Celtics. Let's go to Boston. All right, here goes Boston. We set in, and we look at some of the past games. I like that little addition to the NBA app. And let's go over to the Celtics. Tatum, Williams, Horford, Brown. All these guys played last game, but they were missing a couple of folks by the way of who's the big shot blocking man. He's not there. He is now. Robert Williams was not a part of this vernacular when they played last, okay? On the Heat side, they had everybody on the last game, but how about the lineups now that Robert Williams is at least playing? I'm not going to say he's healthy, but he at least played when the Miami Heat took him to ground with a 106-98 win back in March. All right, let's get into the lineup. CBS Sports, it is what it is. Let's go where it's easy, man. The lineups are quite easy to understand and see where the advantages and disadvantages is, but I like to really run through it walk for walk, line for line. Boston, let's get the depth charts. And Mr. Pritchard is going to be my topic of conversation. And I'm going to do a one-up on both sides, all right? I'm going to give you the both sides shit. That means I'm going to give you Marcus Smart versus, is Kyle Lowry back on the other side? You got You're My Hero there as well at point guard, right? Gabe Vincent. So can Smart and White outplay those two? Yes. You add on Pritchard? Yes. There's an advantage there. Gabe Vincent, Lowry. Not sure those are enough. Be advised that Mr. Oladipo does play the point guard position at times as the primary ball handler. So when you bring in Oladipo, in my opinion, because I like Oladipo a lot, I think Oladipo overstands those three. Yes, sir. Just the addition of Oladipo doing his thing like he did in the previous games, distributing a little bit, as well as being aggressive, that supersedes Marcus Smart, White, and Pritchard. I know it's going to be tough defensively for Oladipo to try to get around these guys, but in my opinion, Oladipo's the X factor with Larry and Gabe Vincent. If you got all three of those guys, I got them one up on Boston. Shooting guard: Brown, White, Naismith. Stauskas doesn't play much, right? And you got Marcus Smart that can sub in. On the other side of the ball, Max Strus, right, was one of those guys, hero off the bench. Maybe even Jimmy Butler and Spouts, okay? I think they even out here. I think the addition of White and Brown, if White can finally come alive, brings them out even. So I do think there's not much to lose or much left to gander when we're looking at your boy Brown, White versus your boy Strus, your boy Butler in a way, right? Playing that off guard spot, doing his thing. Small forward, Tatum. Woof. Tatum versus Butler. It is what it is. That's still going to be the war. Williams off the bench. I think they got a little bit more bench depth at the small forward position. Again, reverse. Shooting guard position, I do think your boys from Miami got a little bit more work for them. When we get to the small forward, it's going to be tough. Tatum, Williams, Naismith, these are a pretty good fit for this team. And it's exciting to see what we're going to get out of these guys as we get into crunch time. Power forward, we know about Al Horford and then Mr. Greg Williams, and then Robert Williams is added in at the starter with Al Horford. So size-wise, I don't think there's much you can do on the other side of the Bam Adebayo Dwayne Dedman. But let's get to the power forward real quick. We talked about Jimmy I. Butler, but who's at the power forward spot technically, right? That's where it gets pretty difficult to try to assess where this team goes. Is Bam really the 4? Because he kind of plays the 5, right? Then you got Duncan Robinson. There's a couple other guys over 6'8" they kind of mix in, and that is the advantage served for Boston. If they can get inside with Al and Robert Williams, Greg as well as a big body, I do think they can put in more work inside versus your boys, yes, on the Miami Heat. All right. And from my vantage point, after reading through that, I got the centers as an advantage to the Celtics. I got the point guards as if you don't include Oladipo, as a slight advantage to the Celtics. The rest is going to be a toss-up, but the bench goes to Miami with Hero, Duncan, and a slew of other players that come off and do their thing versus a Derek White, a Grell Williams, a Nate Smith. This is not enough to do it, okay, in my opinion, to get to a championship run. So we're going to kick this off and get going with what the lineups are from the Heat side, get over to the Heat wave, and understand what the hell's going on, man. We just went through it already in actuality. Let's be straight up honest, but we can take a peek again. I got no problem. Boy, don't got no problems. Larry, Vincent, I talked about it, right? Hero. Strus at the shooting guard with Hero, and then Oladipo can possibly come in as a sub. And then you got Duncan Robinson there. Butler, Martin, those two, that's going to be tough on Mr. Tatum. A little bit too much there. Plus Duncan comes off. You can switch in Oladipo. PJ Tucker, Mr. Robinson, that's the lineup I want to see. Because Mr. Robinson is going to have to do a little bit more than he has. And I would like to see a little bit more Keith Morris. I think he would be a good addition. At the center position, I do got Bob Adebayo and Dedman a little bit stronger than the other side of the champ lane. You know what I mean? You know, they got with Robert Williams versus Horford. I do think Bam has the advantage. The power forward position is the one question mark. Can they get Markieff Morris and Robinson going to try to help out this squad? In all, it's going to be a tough lineup matchup. Like I said, it's probably going to go to a 6, a tough 6, and maybe a 7. If all things fall apart on the side of your boys, the Boston Celtics, you figure it's a 5-game win, and they're headed back to La Casa. All right? So I really appreciate what you guys bring to the table and watching me. Celtics will have a hard fight. Miami going to take it. We getting ready to watch, man. Your boy step back. I'm gone. Peace.